Scaffold in the demolition industry, a thought-provoking process when determining risk control measures. The National Federation of Demolition Contractors has collaborated with contractor members to produce this animated video guidance that helps to determine the most appropriate use of scaffold protection when demolishing high-rise buildings. Safety and protection of the demolition workforce and the general public must always be the number one priority. All works must be carried out in accordance with the relevant British standards with site-specific RAMs developed and implemented throughout the project. Why do we use scaffolding in demolition, and what are the hazards? To ensure a safe working platform and preventing falls from heights. To provide a safe means of access and egress to the work area. To capture dust and debris. To reduce noise levels created by the works, all whilst maintaining stakeholder, client, and local authority requirements. Whilst reducing the risk of these hazards, are we introducing further possible higher severity hazards such as scaffold collapse? By opening our thought processes and following the hierarchy of control, could the hazard be eliminated or the risk reduced? The hierarchy of control is a system used to minimise or eliminate the hazard completely. The hierarchy sets out the order of managing hazards, starting with the first principle of elimination. Could the hazard be eliminated completely? In most cases, this is not possible, whereby we follow the next steps of the hierarchy. Let's look at a thought process on applying the hierarchy of control to our fictitious site and how we can apply the principle within our industry. Given a completely clear and unrestricted site, let's reassess the risks we are trying to control. By creating an exclusion zone around the building and using a high-reach demolition machine, the use of scaffolding around the entire building can be eliminated. All of the hazards identified pose little risk within our fictitious site, and we have eliminated the higher severity hazard of a scaffold collapse. Another alternative would be an explosive demolition to eliminate scaffold by means of a total exclusion zone in accordance with British standards. The next level of control is substitution, which involves replacing the hazard with one that presents a lower risk. Could the use of scaffold be substituted for alternative control measures when using demolition machinery? Substituting the use of a mobile crane hanging screen eliminates the use of scaffolding. This provides physical protection from dust and debris. Further control measures may be introduced, such as dust suppression and temporary road closures. The crane and screen loadings must be considered under British standards. Alternative methods may include the use of portable screen barriers, custom-designed screens transported in sections and bolted together, providing a freestanding shield that is not directly attached to the building. The screen must be designed, erected and dismantled in accordance with British standards and site-specific RAMs. Following the hierarchy of control, if elimination and substitution are not practicable, then engineering controls can be used to reduce the risk. Let us now consider a far more restricted city centre site, with an adjoining building and the front elevation bordering the footpath. Engineering controls may include sheeting to prevent dust, the installation of scaffold fans at designated heights to reduce the risk of debris falling, designed in accordance with British standards, a design sequence of demolition and structural stability assessments. A key part of the process of demolition is planning using a documented methodology sequence for the deconstruction of the building. The demolition plan must be designed according to the structural constraints. These include floor loadings, structural stability, and a sequence of demolition with additional temporary support as deemed necessary. Structural stability assessments must be carried out and take into account how the scaffold interacts with the demolition sequence, all in accordance with British standards. Scaffold tie patterns for top-down demolition works differ to traditional tie patterns. When designing scaffolding, we must look at the demolition methodology and not an access scaffold in isolation. Additional ties at designed intervals are fixed to the structure to ensure the scaffolding is suitably anchored to the building at all times, both during erection and dismantling. An integrated scaffold strike and demolish methodology must be created to ensure the scaffold remains tied at the correct levels, so as not to leave the top of the scaffold at risk of collapse. The sequencing of works must be communicated to the site team during daily briefings, and any noted deviation to the agreed plan must be reported immediately to the site supervisor. As the building is reduced in height, the methodology will change, including the extent and type of protection required. Will the scaffold protection remain stable? Could we eliminate the scaffolding at this point? Could we substitute alternative control methods? Could we re-establish the extended working zone? Can we remove the need for the scaffolding to be tied to the structure by looking at the design and adopting a Kentledge or independent screen approach, managed to British standards? Could we even have designed this solution during the initial design phase? Administrative controls cover work methods or procedures that are designed to reduce the remaining risk. This chosen methodology must be monitored and controlled by the qualified CCDO-carded demolition supervisor with demolition-specific temporary works training. They are responsible for ensuring the works are carried out to plan as directed by the temporary works designer and coordinator. All control methods set out within the project RAMs must be communicated and followed by the site team during daily briefings. The final control in the hierarchy is competent contractor, ensuring that the demolition professionals involved in decision-making and carrying out works are suitably qualified and can demonstrate the required skills, knowledge and abilities to execute the demolition works safely, appropriately and efficiently. For clarity regarding the required competence levels for performing such works, you can reach out to the NFDC, the NASC and the NDTG. These industry experts will point you in the right direction for guidance and training. A CCDO supervisor qualification and an approved temporary works training course pass will be expected of a competent contractors team. In some cases, a combination of control measures may be necessary. If in doubt, ask a competent contractor. Thank you for watching. For further information, contact the NFDC. Please share this video guidance with your management team and stay safe.